What's the most overrated tourist attraction you have visited? The Hollywood Walk of Fame. Hollywood Boulevard is an open sewer. If you ever go to Los Angeles, stay as far away from there as you can. Plymouth Rock. I am not American, so perhaps the significance of it is lost on me, but still. When I was there, a school tour arrived and the hushed consensus from a group of teenagers was, "Is that it?" We drove 2 hours to see that. Fort took me as a child when we lived in New was literally a plaque on the ground somewhere between nowhere and next to nothing. Mount Rushmore. It's much smaller than you'd probably imagine, and it's basically like looking at a patriotic billboard in the middle of nowhere. The Mona Lisa. The Louvre was fun and there are so many incredible things to see, but don't waste all your time standing in line to see the Mona Lisa. The Statue of Liberty. Don't pay to go to Liberty Island. Take the Staten Island ferry and see it the way it was meant to be seen. The Great Pyramid of Giza and the Sphinx. They are amazing, but it is totally ruined by the aggressive begging and swindling of the locals. And all the rubbish and shit everywhere. Was easily our worst part of the visit to Egypt. Pisa. Italy has better examples of architecture. Most of it stands up straight. And when you get there, it's just thousands of geniuses doing the same photo where you pretend to hold it up. Other than that, there is fuck all to do there apart from eat average food at a tourist trap restaurant. Italy is great, but Pisa was not worth the detour. Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Because it's nothing like San Francisco. In fact, it's the exact antithesis of what SF is about. It's like when the Simpsons went to Japan and they went to America Town to eat. Salem, Massachusetts during Halloween season. Tourist trap with way too many street performers. Enough sights for maybe a weekend, and is interesting historically. If it wasn't crowded like a subway terminal, it would have been way better. Niagara Falls. The falls were cute for a few minutes, then the rest of the area was like a boardwalk for human garbage bags. Disney. Cool to go on 2X when your kids are old enough to remember and enjoy it. How people go every year is beyond me, both from a financial and enjoyment perspective. Up until the last 10-12 years, Disney really hadn't changed that much. The Alamo. Not much to it, and since it is hot 320 days a year in San Antonio, it was hot. I prefer the indoor Alamo at the Gaylord Texan Hotel in Grapevine. It has AC and you can get a margarita right there and enjoy lunch. Plus, no basement. Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, always looked bigger in film media. After I walked across, I was like, yep, I just crossed the road. Six Flags Great Adventure. Some of their best rides are down 75% of the time. Total waste of money. The Louvre, well, not the whole place. The Mona Lisa painting. It's pretty tiny and you can't get close because of the crowds. But even if you can get up to the barrier, it's still so small to be able to see it in detail. The Mannequin Piece, Belgium. Just a tiny baby taking a piss, but somehow, at any given time, there are dozens of people taking pictures of it. Mona Lisa. Been there, done that, didn't bought the t-shirt, but a paper knife replica of Napoleon's sword. If I ever go to Paris again, it will be outside tourist season, and I will walk the route they took in before sunset. Any touristy part of every city ever in the history of tourism. Any cool natural thing in the middle of nowhere where you wait in a line and sleep in a hotel. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No live music. Not much of anything that represents rock and roll. Hell, the Hard Rock Cafe has a better collection of instruments. NYC, I don't get the attraction. Some folks love it, but yeah, there are too many people and too many buildings and everything is expensive like hell. North Cape, Norway. You can watch the midnight sun just as well from many other places. It's not even the northernmost point, just the one where you can go by car and it's a long ride. The White House. It's a lot smaller in person than in the movies and it's surrounded by buildings instead of open fields like I was led to believe. The Sistine Chapel. St. Peter's Basilica is absolutely amusing. But though the Sistine Chapel was underwhelming. Eiffel Tower. It's indeed beautiful, but there are so many beautiful things to see in Paris and generally in France capable of eclipsing it, yet it's a stereotype of France. The Mona Lisa. That was so underwhelming. The giant painting directly opposing it, however, was glorious. Grand Canyon. It's just a big hole. We did a light aircraft flight over it. After the first 5 minutes you've seen it. Don't need to keep going over it for another 35 minutes. It's all the same. Washington, D.C. Edit. No disrespect to the deceased, but the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I've never been there, but to watch a few soldiers walk around and yell to remain quiet and things like that. I have no urge to go there. Oklahoma, Little Niagara Falls. It's a stream with some rocks piled 2 feet high. So many people. Why, back in 75 and 76 I used to go to NY to pick up manuscripts for Printing Co. Wow! Times Square was fucking nuts. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach itself is fine but everything around it is super expensive tourist traps. A skill entire public bathroom and they'll try to get you to pose for an overpriced picture. Las Vegas. Basically the douchebag capital of America. Kind of cool for an hour or two, but then you find yourself wishing for the next Black Plague. I think the guys handing out titty flyers to 7-year-old kids was the last freaking straw. Petrified forest. No forest. Just idiots stealing pieces of fossilized trees. They are probably all stolen by now. I crossed the Golden Gate Bridge on my way from SFO to the racetrack in Sonoma. It felt underwhelming in size, like, I expected it to be longer. That's what she said. Atlantic City. On paper it sounds great. The smaller Las Vegas at the beach. But the beach is extra May, and all the hotels, casinos, food events were Vegas prices but way lower quality. People are probably gonna hate me, but I gotta say Mount Rushmore. When my family went there, we planned on spending the whole day at the site, but once we got there, we found out it was only a place to view it and a gift shop. I think we only spent like an hour there. Monarch in peace. I honestly thought it was bigger. We had an Airbnb right next to it and boy does it attract loads of disappointed people. Pissing boy in Brussels. It's so small and such a tourist trap. I am still mad about wasting my time seeking it out. St. Louis Arch. The elevator ride up feels like something from a small town cheap carny fair. Cramped. Rickety. And once you're up, it's not all that special. Niagara Falls, on the US side. The Canadian side is much nicer. And this is coming from someone that lives on the US side. The Alamo, if you've ever visited San Antonio you'd know what I mean. But hey, there is a Ripley's across the street. Gatlinburg TN. The whole town is one giant tourist trap. I've been there twice with people that wanted to go. I've never seen the appeal of that place. Wave Rock. Outside of Australia you probably wouldn't have heard of it. All the pictures look cool but it's a 10-hour drive through nowhere. The facilities haven't been upgraded since the 80s and once you see it you're done in half an hour. It does make for interesting pictures but honestly, not worth the trip. Gotta be Niagara Falls. What a bore! Even the Maid of the Mist. A friend had told me he thought the captain was drunk when he got so close to the falls. I was disappointed that mine proved to be very sober.